YouTube. Hey, Myrtle Beach Shark Teeth family. We're here today with ONeill Sessions. You all might have seen him on the actual page, the Myrtle Beach Shark Teeth page, Facebook page. And he's the gentleman that gets the creams. He exists, he's real, he's alive. We're here again today at the beach. Another wonderful, awesome opportunity. We met up, talked, chatted. We're here today. We're going to talk a little bit about teeth. We're not going to give too many secrets, but we are going to talk a little bit about knowledge, a little bit of history that this man has. So let's get started. All right. So ONeill, tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been doing this, and where you're from.
Okay, so I'm born and raised Myrtle Beach.
All right.
You know, I've probably been doing it maybe 10 years. Kind of hunt anywhere from South Myrtle all the way up to Cherry Grove. Spread it out. It's always, you know, one of those things where you just got to catch it when it's right. If you can be behind a beach for nourishment, we were talking about that.
Right.
That's always key because, you know, it's always really good after the beach for nourishment. Typically, not always, but
right.
Typically.
Right.
Everything's kind of slowing down around town, it seems like, for the most part.
Absolutely.
But, you know, we're here in downtown Myrtle today, just seeing if we see anything out here today. And there's some shells out. Not seeing much for teeth right now, but, you know, there's possibilities.
All right. All right. So let's talk a little bit about how long have you been doing this, or how did you get started?
Good question. So probably around 10 years.
Okay.
Just kind of stumbled onto it.
Okay.
Happened to be in a good spot to start finding Carolina creams right off the bat. And then once I did, I got hooked.
All
so,
right.
you know, it's one of those things. Once you find something nice,
Absolutely.
you want to find the next nice one.
Absolutely. So speaking of creams, what is your favorite species to find in the Carolina creams?
Oh, of course, the great white. Of course.
Great white.
I love them all, though. I like the sand tigers with the two cusps on the side. I like the tigers with the little ridges on them. I like them all, man. I like them all.
Okay, so on a day like today, you really can't see behind us too well. There is shell content, there's shell beds. They're not as deep as what we're used to seeing. But on a day like today, would you begin to, because we have a lot of newbies that's coming on to the page. So without giving a lot of the veteran secrets, on a day like today, where or how would you start on a day like today looking at the surf?
I don't know. For me, I mean, everybody's got different ways of doing it. I do a little bit of everything. I dig, I shell, I follow the surf. I mean, for me, it seems like all the action, best I can explain it for people is, it seems like the 3 hours leading into high tide and the 3 hours going after high tide is when the biggest action is going on for me. Most of it seems like it's in the high sand, you know, so once you get about 3 hours into that after high tide, it kind of quits when it gets further out into the surf for me most of the time.
So,
you know?
So what he's saying is, first of all, I mentioned on the last YouTube, is be patient first of all for the newcomers, right?
Absolutely.
And even us veterans, or even our enthusiasts, or the people that come out once a week, twice a day, once a month, once a year, whatever. So he's mentioning the tides, right? And I think of it as a big washing machine that's just cycling sand. So we could come out here 2 hours, 3 hours. He was out earlier this morning, right? So was it different shell content earlier than what it is right now?
So I was in a different location this morning, so it was totally different than here. There was not much anything in that location today, so
Okay.
I ended up digging in the high sand under spots where I kind of know where there's still stuff.
Okay.
Because I've been doing it long enough, I kind of keep track of where I know things are.
Okay.
Right now, if you were to go there, you wouldn't find anything, it would humble you. It just happens. I mean, you know, the more you do it, the more you learn tricks and tips and places
Absolutely.
to go and, you know, things to do. But I'll sift, I'll dig, I'll take one of the little things that you use to reach out into the surf and pull the stuff out with that sifter. I'll use the one that you grab it up off the sand if I'm just walking. You know, so it just depends on the situation as to what I end up doing, you know, depending on what I see on the beach.
Okay, so let's go here. If I'm also a newbie and I see something that looks like a tooth, right? And we're so used to looking for black, right? Which is custom for down here.
Yep.
How do they readjust or train their eyes to look for different color teeth? Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to walk over sand that's cream that matches the sand because it's still brown.
Yep.
So how do you train your eye? I should say looking for black, but looking for different colors of teeth.
So the white, I mean, they still have a sheen. All of them have a sheen. I focus more on the gums than when I get into the cream color teeth, because most of the time I tell folks If you get somewhere where you see colorful shells, slow down, because there's a good possibility you might be in a situation where there's more cream colors than what you know, and it'll blend right into some of the white shells a lot of times. Where with the black, you got a little more contrast, you know, so it's a little different. I definitely cue in more on like the gums. Most of the gums are going to be brownish tan on the teeth that I find.
Right.
You
Now,
know.
and so they change the more they dry, obviously, right?
Yep.
So, if he will, would you kind of give us a first-hand view if you were coming out today and you were looking in this area, what would you say, because we're going to get this question. How do I look? Where do I look? How do I look? Where do I look? We get this a lot. I know you're all wanting, how and where do we look? So if I was a newbie, what would you tell me, ONeill, to come out and look for first? If I knew nothing about teeth, I'm new to the page, because I know I'm going to get this question again after we're telling you how to kind of look for them. So if I come out today, where do I start? Do I do like the lady behind us here that's kind of looking and just go into the water and splash? Where do I go? I see shell content. So let's start from scratch. I see shell content. He's known for Carolina creams. But right now, we're just trying to find a tooth, right? So we have a lot of people that are coming in for vacation. They're coming in for Easter. They're coming in for spring. They're coming in for whatever the case is. So they're going to come to the beach. Where would they start looking at the shell content? Let's just say right here. So if we're looking at the teeth or trying to find teeth in this area here, what's the first thing that we would kind of look for as in teeth?
So for us right now, I mean, it's pretty much getting close to high tide.
Okay.
We're here during the daytime. During the daytime, people are walking all the time, especially downtown Myrtle Beach. It is what it is.
Okay.
You get in the summer, it's even worse. So you've almost got to be there as it's popping up. You've got to follow that tide right now, probably for the next 2 to 3 hours as it's going out, and stay in the edge of the surf. You might find something up high, but there's a good possibility somebody's already walked all that because it's been there all day and it's been walked. But right now, while the tide's maxed out, you almost need to follow that tide, be patient, look for the heavy shell content, and then just, you know, look for the sheen, look for the teeth.
Okay, so again, we have to, he's mentioning take your time, walk. Now, sometimes I mention to go back. Well, obviously I have on water boots, so I could do that. But to me, sometimes the shell content changes the further back because it's covered up, right? So if they were to look in deeper water, what is the technicality from looking on the sand compared to going through looking in the water? Wouldn't you having the gushing of the water going back and forth? Does that change for you, or would you rather look more up top?
I definitely like to look in the wet stuff versus the dry stuff. I see it better in the wet. Some people see it in the dry, some people see it better in the wet. Me personally, I like to see it where it's wet.
Okay. So let me ask you this. When you come out and you read the beach, do you continue to walk the beach if it's empty? Or would you get back in your car and just go home? Or would you rather see how the content changes the further you walk?
So like today, there's not a whole lot where I've walked this morning. There is shells. I'm not really seeing much for teeth today. There's some spots that are heavy. I would probably focus on the heavy spots, but right now, because I'm not finding much on top, I probably would be just following the tide for the next 2 or 3 hours because, of course, as it's receding, you might find some new spots that turn out to be good spots as it goes out. It changes pretty quick sometimes. I've been out here and seen big piles of shells on top of the mounds close to the tide, and then before you know it, it's disappeared. So it can change just like that.
So besides teeth, do you like to collect fossils as well?
Sure.
Or what are some of your favorite fossils?
Well, I always like to get the clam fossils that we always find here that are really old. Anything I find, I like to go shelling. I mean, I don't have no problem with just digging in and sifting and seeing what I can find. You know, and then every once in a while you get lucky. The biggest tooth I ever found was on a day where I had walked before daylight, nothing on the beach, came back to an area where I knew there were shells underneath, because usually if you know there's shells underneath there, I'm talking heavy content, you can pull out the olives, you can pull out the augers, the whelps, the nutmegs, the banded tulips, the drills. All that stuff is embedded in there if you're in the right spots. And I kind of like to dig into that and just do that sometimes. Luckily on that day, I found the biggest white cream tooth I ever found.
Wow.
I got maybe 10 baskets into an area where I was digging for stuff, just looking to see what I would find. and then I had a really nice one come out. I brought it today to share it with you if you want.
Sure, absolutely. Let's take a look at it.
So not found today. This is just something from, you know, prior hunts. But this is the best shark's tooth I have ever found locally.
Wow.
Okay. I'm waiting to see if I find a better one than that from somebody else.
Okay, so this is the first time I'm seeing this along with you all. Again, this part is not planned. Didn't know he was even gonna bring this size tooth, all right?
So this is a Carolina cream great white upper tooth. About 2.6 inches, no breaks in the serrations.
That's crazy.
On a day when I didn't find anything on the beach and was just digging in the shells, I was able to pull this out of there. So it was a great day for me.
Wow.
On a day when there was about 3 people on the beach.
Isn't that something? Not store-bought, found on the beach, all right? Not eBay, not any of that. So again, cream, Carolina cream exactly, to be exact, does exist. And that's a privilege and an honor for him to even bring it out. That would never leave my house. That would never even have an opportunity to even see my car. So nevertheless, be out here in this wide open snatch city, right? So this lets you know that he just didn't start yesterday, right? He's learned the tricks, the trades, the secrets, where to go, where not to go, how to learn, but it wasn't overnight, okay? So we do have the people that randomly find the big teeth that size that have never looked a day in their life.
All the little kids find the big megalodons. Hey, I've never found a whole megalodon tooth on the beach.
Wow,
never found a whole one. 3/4 of one, but never a whole one.
And they're tough. They're far and few between. There's hotels out there that like to kind of plant stuff, locals plant stuff, just for the fun of kids finding it, because they know they're gonna come down springtime, spring break, and the holidays from May to September, pretty much, right? So that is amazing. You heard what he said. On a day where he hadn't really found anything, 3 people on the beach, like today. I mean, the beaches are not packed. It's just funny, we just had a couple walk by us on the opposite side of the camera. They had the little ladles, right? The what you call it, the sippers, I guess. So there's actually 2 more in front of us. So today, I'm more so towards Holden and South. Today, we're right here by 2nd Avenue, and there's a lot more people coming out for the afternoon. And does it make it a little more difficult? Do you start to leave the beach when you see that, or do you continue to keep looking?
Oh, I keep looking.
Keep looking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm shelling, there's many a day where if there's nothing on the beach and I'm putting it out, everybody stops. I call it breadcrumbs because it's like the seagulls just come flocking in usually.
And don't you love it when people come to the area? They kind of circle around you like the what is it, the raven or the hawk or whatever up top, right? They love to just, oh, what you looking for, and now shark your whole area and perimeter. So we like to give the courtesy, like respect of like a radius, right? If someone's looking, and don't you love it when you've got your hole and you're letting the water kind of slosh it out? Here they come, picking like ravens, mice.
It happens.
It happens. So on today, man, we wanted just to get with him. If there's any more questions you all have, what else would you like to kind of share? Anything else you'd like to kind of share with us today?
I don't know, just be patient, guys. It's out there. I mean, you can find anything, anywhere, anytime. I mean, I lost a tooth at this beach. I posted on your site about it. 7 months later, I found that exact same tooth in this same area. And it was a big great white tooth that I was shocked that I was able to find it again, because I just knew I had lost it. It fell out of the fanny pack when I went to grab the phone.
Oh,
I didn't realize it.
man.
And then all of a sudden, 7 months later, I found it sitting on a shell one day out here in the same area. I was like, wow, what are the odds?
Well, we're back. We want to thank ONeill again for coming in. We'll do this again soon, hopefully, and we'll get more information. We just want this to be a quick little meetup, man, to share a little bit of information. And while the beach wasn't too packed, it's a little cooler, so it's kind of deterred a lot of the people from coming out today, which is kind of super cool, super awesome. We want to thank ONeill for his time. And if you see him out, let him keep walking, keep your distance. Yes, he's a celebrity, but nevertheless, super cool guy, super great guy. Again, this is just the beginning of hopefully great things to come, new things to come. If you see us on the beach, say hello, wave at us. We're not unapproachable. We're just cool dudes out here on the beach doing what we love to do. So ONeill, thanks so much again, man. Hopefully we can do it again. Next time we'll see you, and again, happy hunting.
Thanks, guys.